he was working these turkeys, and I'm hearing them gobble. I'm like amped up, thinking they're coming. Like this is it. And all I hear is Michael, we're up there. Where are they? My head is like top of the ground blinds here, the little window, and I can't see. He's over here the whole time telling me, Michael, you can't move. They got the best eyes in the woods. You can't move. I'm like, I can't see them. So I'm telling my grandpa, I can't see them. He goes, Michael, they're strutting right there. Right in our face. I jump. And he goes, all right, well, you think you can get that gun on your shoulder and just rest it on the ground blind? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Like something, I don't know what's happening.
Grab your gear, find your stand, and listen in as we share another journey that shapes a hunter's legacy.
Every time I have tried recording the past couple weeks, I've had to reschedule or cancel or something.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know it when I had first picked that date. We merged our calendars and we didn't have our family calendar set up. So after we had done it, I was looking at my calendar and I was like, "Oh crap, you're going to Minnesota for a week, and I've got both the kids. I can't be away from the kids for an hour and a half." So
They can join you.
yeah. No, I got a 3-year-old and my other one, my son, he's about to be 9 months. So maybe a couple disruptions in that. So, and then she just got back. She got back last Friday and then left Saturday morning at 5 a.m. Went on her bachelorette trip down to New Orleans and got back yesterday. So it's been pretty wild.
There you go, man. This is like the first time I've felt like I've been behind in the year I've done it. So technically, you're going to be the next one to get published, which would be tomorrow, but it won't happen. So what I'm doing is kind of going back through all the episodes and peeling out the embarrassing stories. I don't know. Have you listened to an episode yet?
I listened to like 3 or 4 today because I was kind of curious on how, what your style is a little bit. Cause yeah, honestly, I couldn't remember, what like the initial, I guess, topic that I had put on there. I know it was something about losing permission, to my family property or something, but I was definitely curious. And also, I mean, I feel like your platform and the way that you do things it's a little nice to hear a little of something that's more realistic, I listened to especially the one that stood out. And the reason I clicked on, I'm a turkey hunter. So there was the one I saw that the guy, the picture, it was him holding a turkey. And I was like, oh, he's probably got a good turkey story. And it was actually the guy that his uncle he had an accident in the woods from his buddy behind him 15 yards away. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So heard that one. And then I listened to, I think 2 or 3 more. I think there's 2 guys from PA and, I think I finished that one almost on the way home. So
You got to listen to the one with
Samir.
He's got, I believe it's a hippo in the picture. Some just unreal stories from Africa. Shot a leopard charging at him after he shot it out of the tree. Shot a hippo that was eating local villager boys. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? I know we're talking a little bit about work activities, but kind of fill us in on who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Michael. From kind of central Missouri, more towards the east side, about an hour west of St. Louis. I own a carpentry company. I've been in business now for like June will be a year officially. So last year was a huge year. Got laid off, started a business, found out we're having a kid, got engaged, bought a house. So 2025 was huge. And I am not the biggest on deer hunting, sore subject, but I'm more so definitely more of a turkey hunter, and it's been definitely a lot of learning and just a lot of time, I guess, that I've spent in the woods and a lot of patience so far that has gotten us to where we are now with outside of it with family and company and being able to do what we're able to do every day. So
when did you get started hunting, Michael?
So I kind of had a weirder come up with it. My grandpa actually is the one that got me into hunting. He bought 30 some odd acres and built a house on it. And he taught himself how to hunt in his 30s and had a buddy that mentored him. And I kind of saw him going out, would come back, and he'd come up in the driveway with a big old buck, 150s, 160s, 156-inch deer, and come up in the driveway and take a picture with him in the driveway. But it wasn't something that my parents were really into. And they, I really wanted to go. And finally, Missouri, we can take our hunter safety at 11. So the big rule in our house is that you had to take your hunter safety before you got in the woods. So 11, I took the test and then started with him, just sitting with him, and did more deer hunting than I did turkey hunting starting out, a lot. And I didn't get to sit by myself, and everybody that hunts goes through it. Everybody wants to sit by themselves, and I sat by myself for the first time ever at 15. I'd gotten my first bow for Christmas, went out, opening day when I was 15, September 15th, and shot my first deer, and it was with a bow at like 10 yards. That was a huge doe. Turned out button buck.
We've all done it. You're not the first.
Yeah, I'm guilty of it, but it was cool. I remember calling Grandpa and it being real neat. We had all the 4-wheeler roads and just a little John Deere tractor that I could call him, hear the tractor fire up, comes down the hill, and we walk. I watched the deer fall, and he goes, "Where is it?" I said, "Oh, it's right over there." And you see, it's a big old doe. And he's looking at me, because I could just see his face just go.
That doe's got some testicles.
Yeah, so I go over there, rolling over. He goes, "Hey, good job, but look a little closer next time," So, but it was pretty cool. Yeah, and then I kind of got into it more that year. Actually, I think that's the year that I really got hooked on it. I don't know, just kid luck. Got my first deer with a bow, got a button buck, and then rifle opening day of rifle. That time I actually did shoot the big. That's actually the biggest doe I to this day I've ever gotten. Like dressed out 180 pounds.
Just a toad.
Yeah, and then the following day, shot our first buck with a rifle, and that was just a clean 120-inch 8-pointer for a 15-year-old kid. Sweet. And it's to this day still my biggest buck. So, but yeah, I got hooked on it then, and went out with him in the spring, did some turkey hunting. And years at turkey hunting, but it just wasn't. He was the type that would just get to a spot and sit, and I just got bored with it. It wasn't anything fun for me. And a really good friend of mine, I would always see him going out in the turkey, getting to turkey all the time in the spring. And finally, I think like our senior year, the high school, or maybe year after we graduated, went out with him, and I'd gotten a turkey. It wasn't my first one. The first turkey I ever got, I was in a big old box blind. Grandpa said, "Hey, I've seen a flock of turkeys coming down here every single day. Go sit in the blind, just wait for him to come." So I didn't really get that gobbling experience, but went out with my buddy and got that and was hooked. I was hooked. So it's pretty cool.
All about the turkeys now, huh?
Oh yeah. It's progressively it's been a major addiction that's grown, especially like the past 4 years. I'm 26 for context, so I'm not the oldest. So, but yeah, probably the past 4 or 5 years, it's definitely my obsession with it has grown severely. I do some out of state hunting and whatnot. And first trip was Oklahoma. That was 2021. And we went down there, and I think we had like 4 or 5 days. We were down there I won't name drop where exactly, but we were down there, went turkey hunting, and kind of struck out. Couldn't find water, and it was our first out of state trip. We just really couldn't find turkeys, and we finally found some on private. Went over there, asked for permission, and this is probably, I think we had like 2 days left. I think it was 3 days whenever we got the permission, and then the day of the hunt, we went over there. We had 2 days, and went over there, hunted in the morning, went back to camp, and we were setting up camp and getting ready to cook lunch, and got a call from my aunt, and she told me to sit down and called me and told me that my grandpa, he was going, and he's out in his boat, and one of his best friends was coming down to go crappie fishing with him. And he had a heart attack and fell out of the back of his boat and drowned in the lake that I grew up fishing with him with, and his other buddy who just had esophageal cancer removed swam out in the lake and pulled my 275-pound grandpa out of the lake, and he passed. And it was kind of a shell shock moment, and my best friend. So initially, gut reaction, grandpa dies, we're going to drive across the state, go home, drop everything, just pack up and go. And, call, Phil to my parents on what had happened, and then call my grandma to see how she was doing, and told her, we're going to be home tonight. And she just told us to stay. She said, he would want you to stay and hunt. So as much as I fought against it, my buddy that I was with, he was like, she's not wrong. Like he would want us to stay. So we stayed, and it was also, it was my buddy that I was with, childhood friend, it was also his birthday on top of it. So he was like, I know it's my birthday, whatnot. If whatever happens, go for it. Go out that night, and Grandpa Lou was with us because I got my hands on first out of state bird. It was awesome, crazy hunt. It was just an experience that I think that's kind of why I'm so drawn to turkey hunting now. That turkey that day was kind of one of those dime of the dozen hunts where you go out, your mind's just in la la land, and you're not really in it. And then by the grace of God, they're there. And it all kind of stars align moment.
Sorry to hear that. How long ago was that?
2021, so 5 years now. Yeah.
So early 20s.
Yeah. So
yeah, that'll change your perspective pretty fast, won't it?
Yeah, it does. And it's part of it, of life. I mean, what the shocker is just whenever it happens, when something happens like that, if it's just unexpected, what can you do? There's nothing, and it's okay. Sometimes it's meant to happen like that. So, I think, but like I said, after that hunt, I think it was I just had that natural, more of a draw to, I don't know what it is about it. I just feel more connected because there's deeper things that go along with it. His birthday's in the middle of April. Favorite trees are dogwood trees, flowers, and turkeys are gobbling, and weather's nice. I mean, it's just a time of the year that just kind of makes you, just a full reset. And for me personally now, it's kind of an emotional time of the year as well. And being able to be out there in the woods, and especially now at this point, just doing what I absolutely enjoy the most, aside from, my family and praising the Lord, I can't even describe it at this point. It's just I can't even explain it to my fiance now. It's like a, I almost feel just, to put it in one word, like it's just pure. Do you ever get that feeling?
Oh yeah.
You just feel like a calmness about you that sometimes you just don't find anywhere else, unfortunately. And the turkey woods is that for me. So
you might have said this, but did you ever get to harvest a turkey with your grandpa?
Nope. I got a story for it though. I got a funny one. So, that following spring, it was one of the last times I actually hunted with him. I was short. I was short. I didn't hit a growth jump until maybe sophomore, junior year of high school. So we were in a ground blind. And here in Missouri, it usually greens up pretty well that last week of April, first week of May. And he had this ground blind, and we were sitting up on top of this ridge and just put a decoy spread out there. And he was working these two birds that they flew down. Usually what these turkeys do is there's two main ranges on his property, and turkeys fly down into the neighbor's ag fields next door, and usually mid-morning, sometimes they'll work their way back up onto one of two ridges. And then that day they chose our side. And he was working these turkeys, and I'm hearing them gobble. I'm like amped up thinking, they're coming. Like this is it. And all I hear is, Michael, we're up there. Where are they? My head is like top of the ground blinds here, the little window, and I can't see. He's over here the whole time telling me, Michael, you can't move. They got the best eyes in the woods. You can't move. I'm like, I can't see them, So I'm telling Grandpa, I can't see them. He goes, Michael, they're strutting right there. Right in our face. I jump. And he goes, all right, well, you think you can get that gun on your shoulder and just rest it on the ground blind? I'm like, yeah, like, okay, like something, I don't know what's happening. Well, it got Western. So what ended up happening is he had me set the gun on the webbing of the ground blind. I still can't see. And I'm telling him, Grandpa, I cannot see. I can't see. Like, I can't see. Like, beads up here, my eyes here. He goes, all right, well, he gets over my shoulder and takes the gun and points and aimed for me at the turkey. He goes, you got your shoulder good? You got it? Yeah. Click that safety off. My God, he told me to shoot. I don't even know where that thing went. All I see is just two turkeys fly off. But no, I never got one with him. It was, he watched me get that one out of the backyard, out of the blind, and other than that, that was it. I actually never even got a deer with him either. My brother got a couple of them, but it just never happened. How are they coming behind us, or I'm moving too much? Michael, you gotta sit still. All right. Well, so
That's that's hilarious. Were you sitting down in the blind? You had to have been, right? Yeah.
yeah. And he had one, like one of those dove seats, so sitting even lower, And he never really likes. I think some people. I actually haven't done this before yet. Some people take the outside webbing, that blind, and just shoot right through it. And he didn't leave it up. I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess he didn't want me sitting up higher because he was worried about my head moving around and looking. So I don't know, or maybe he just picked a bad chair. But
Did he get a kick out of that?
yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, kind of. I wouldn't say that. It was more he had this, he had this like look that he would do, and like like a nervous tick, or like like if you do something and your parents are mad about it, everybody knows what their parents do whenever they get mad. His thing was just purse lip, deep breath, and then just start clicking his pinky and his ring fingers together, and just sit there and think, and just Michael, I don't know how that happened. So
He was blaming you?
I think he was mad in the moment just because I couldn't see and they were right there. But I think he just teasing me for being short after that. I think it was just one of those in the moment things. So
How often did you get to go hunting with him?
youth weekends, and then I'd sit with him for youth for deer and rifle, or for deer and turkey, sorry, and then spring turkey. I think I would sit with him like one Saturday or something, and then deer season, if it was, I think if he had got a deer, we had like this weird rule, like I don't know. I think if he had got a deer, then you could go sit with him type deal. It was kind of, I don't want to say it was strange, but they also relied. I actually ate a lot of deer meat. He would shoot 4 or 5 deer throughout the year, maybe shoot one. He tore his rotator cuff, was disabled, and would try to get one of those crossbow. But once rifle season rolled around, I mean, he would probably roll 3 or 4 of them. So I would say in a year's worth, though, probably 3 or 4 times a year, those first 4 or 5 years.
And you said your start to hunting is a little bit different. Your dad didn't hunt.
No. My dad, my dad grew up in St. Louis, and then him and my mom met at a they worked at the same grocery store, and kind of he just never got really in the outdoors or anything with guns or anything like that. He just wasn't interested in any of it. To this day, he won't eat a backstrap, won't do it. He won't eat a deer roast, won't eat a deer brat, any of it. So one of these days, I'm gonna make a venison burger. I'm gonna mix it with some hamburger, and I'm gonna say, "Hey man, I'm grilling up some burgers. Come on over." And then I'm gonna give him that shell shock after, see if he liked it.
Started off in some chili or something.
Yeah. Well, last year for my daughter's birthday, her birthday party, I actually grilled up. I made deer burgers and I made regular hamburgers and just split them up. And crazy enough, because I'm one of the few, like her side of the family, they have a large family. Her dad's side, they all hunt and fish. Her mom's side, not, I don't think anybody, actually, nobody on her mom's side does. And then my family, like, we're pretty small. It's just really just me, my parents, and my brother. And then just a couple friends that were over there at her birthday party. And I think I made like 20, 25 each. It's like 50 burgers. All the venison burgers were gone. Still 10 hamburgers left over. and I had more people ask me for deer burger.
Did
I
you
was
have them
like,
labeled?
yeah, oh yeah. You can't do that. That's a little far strong. Kid, I almost did. Just to mix them in. I couldn't. So
Yeah, most people probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
that is true. Yeah.
But yeah, I like a good deer hamburger and some chili or some tacos. That's what I'm talking about.
Do you do your own? Do you do all your processing yourself?
Try to.
What ratios do you do?
So this is the first time I've done it in a while, but I can't remember. It was cubed meat or whatever, the scraps with 70-30 ground beef is what I did. And I think it was like 2/3 deer, 1/3 ground beef.
Mm-hmm. That's actually that's not that. That's pretty close to what I do. Like I do a pound of hamburger or whatever, sausage or whatever, to 3 pounds of venison. So
Pretty close.
yeah, exactly. And it works out pretty well. I mean, it's not, and you're also not like removing that full like game. I was gonna say game, just that and they're so close to each other, but it's not like you're just eating straight hamburger. It tastes like, you still have that lean type feel to it.
It definitely has a little bit of a gamey taste, and I kind of like it.
Yes. For some it is kind of, I don't even say it's like an acquired. I guess it is kind of an acquired taste for some. I kind of just tell them, like, if I have buddies over and I'm making deer burgers and they're coming over and they're getting free food and like, oh man, I don't like deer meat. Look at me, grow up. Yeah,
Gas station right down the road.
right. There's a Casey's right there. You can go get you a pizza if you want. We're eating deer. So
It's good stuff, man.
yeah.
So you said you don't do much deer hunt anymore?
I do and I don't. So I said, I'm huge into turkey hunting. If she had told me, Michael, you can go turkey hunting from the time it opens in Florida in March till it closes in Michigan in June or wherever it is up north, but you can not go deer hunting ever again, I'm taking that.
Would you?
Yes. Oh, yes. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, deer hunting gets cool for me about August. Most years. Now this year and last year, it's a little different. I also think, I don't want to say it's a motivation thing. I don't run, especially like last year I didn't do it. This year I'm probably not going to. I don't run any cameras. And I would say that links into it used to. I want to get my love for deer hunting back before I start running cameras. Because I used to in the past, like I think at one point, like I had like 7 or 8 cameras spread out, across 70, 80 acres. And where those like where I hunt, it's and you can look, it's called like, it's kind of the Merrimack Caverns area out here. It's just rolling oak ridges, and it's with some river bottom area mixed in there, but primarily ridge systems is what I hunt. And sometimes it can be like the deer can be anywhere, and you can't, like where I hunt, like they're unpatternable. You can't pinpoint and think exactly where they're going to be. And I don't have most of the area that I could hunt over there. It was a lot of north facing slopes and some I think it's east facing slopes as well. But in those ridge systems, like you could have a strong east wind and have drainage, or I guess a valley per chance to say, and have a strong east wind, but your wind is not going east. It's going to hit that ridge and it's going to blow right up. And it just doesn't work the way that you would think it would, that you hear everything. So it's kind of one of those situations where you just have to know the ground and the way the wind works to be able to hunt it. And then, i.e., if you go in there and you go sit one spot and your thermals are pulling wrong, combined with the wind effect of it, your predicted forecast, you throw out your whatever, and you watch that milkweed. You throw out your milkweed and you watch it take that wind, and then once it hits, and you can watch it go across, 70, 80 yards and go down a hillside. And even with the thermals pulling downhill in this drainage, like I'm not kidding you, I'm 20 some odd feet up in this tree, I throw it out, watch it go 70, 80 yards, and see, thinking my thermals are pulling it down, and it actually goes uphill. The wind is pulling it up the hill back to where I think the deer are at. So it makes it tough, but I did like the challenge. The other side of that was after my grandpa had passed, it was his property in his house was passed down to my uncle, and my relationship with him wasn't really the greatest. And I actually lost the property, and he only wants to let himself on it, which is fine. It's your ground. I'm not gonna push myself into somewhere that I don't feel wanted, even though it is family. So outside of that, like I have permission to hunt every single property that touches my uncle's ground, but it almost feels like if I hunt there and I really push to hunt it, like I'm not hunting it for fun. I'm not out there to enjoy the sport or the experience. It almost feels like I'm there out of spite, you know? And I don't want to feel like that. Like last year I shot my first buck in 4 years, yeah, 4 years. And it was on that property, one of the properties I touched that, and it was, don't get me wrong, it was cool. I know the ground, but kind of thought to myself after that, like, was this really the right thing to do? You know, because he doesn't turkey hunt. He does a lot of deer hunting. He's does all the food plots and all that stuff, and I used to help him with all that. But I know the amount of work that he puts in, and I know the amount of time and care that him and I put in there over there together, and it just kind of like one of those full circle moments, and kind of check myself, like, am I really here with the right mindset? So now this year, like I didn't run any cameras at all last year, and this year probably will do the same thing. So now I'm kind of pushing more towards the towards public, and with Turkey Scout and everything, like it's you can see a lot. I mean, I'm one of those guys. I like to walk, and it's nothing for me to do like 10, 12 miles in a day. And you can see a lot. So like this year I'll probably hunt a lot of public, backtrack on what I saw out here. Um, and maybe try and build a relationship, because there is some really good deer hunting over there, especially when you figure those woods out. So I don't know.
You think you're gonna stick with public on deer hunting?
Yeah, there's a couple permission. I've knocked on a couple doors. My area, deer hunter area, unfortunately. So it's also another reason why I turkey hunt as much as I do, because for where I live, we have a pretty good population where I am, or where I hunt, I should say. I shouldn't even say where I am, actually. Where I hunt, there's a pretty good population. Like, it's nothing for you to go drive down the road and see, in 10 fields, there'd be 4 toms in 10 different fields in a half-mile stretch. And same thing with deer. I mean, but like the deer hunting out here, it, there is a huge switch once you go from where I am and more of the hilly terrain to the ag country. And once you get in the ag country, I mean, everybody deer hunts. It's nothing to go and see, Euro mounts on people's front porches. And it's just like, I'm not even going to knock on that door. This guy's got a 140-inch Euro mount. What's inside his living room, you know?
How do you know he didn't just find it on the side of the road?
He could have. He very well could have, and that's one of those things. Like sometimes that's the other thing too. Like I just get in my head so much, and that's the other thing with the camera. That's what I was getting back at with the cameras. Like I would just get in my head so much that you just lose the motivation, because you just go out there and you think, oh man, I just saw this deer go up in this bedding area. I'm gonna go on him right there. Never see a deer, you know. And it just, I think I just lost my love for it. It's just different now. And also the other thing too is like we have a CWD regulations now. We've had it for probably 6 or 7 years now. And for context, like the permit, like when you apply for the permit, our archery season ends January 15th. And then from January 16th to March 15th, it is any way possible, word for word on the permit that you get from the MDC. It says for destroying deer population. Quote. That is a quote. Yeah, or if I might be one word off, but that is what the permit says. You can apply for 10 hunters per property. It's either one or the other with these two numbers. You can apply for 10 hunters per property, and each hunter gets 15 tags, or it's 15 hunters. Either way, you have access to take 150 deer off your property. And since that had started, they also lifted our antler restriction rule as well. And they have done some targeted hunting in my area. One of my areas, one of the core areas. Years ago, I mean, it would be nothing for me to sit on one of those ridges I was mentioning earlier, and with the neighbors cut corn or cut soybeans, and watch several deer. I mean, I shouldn't even say like 15 to 20 deer work out of bed and go right past to go down to cut egg. Now, I mean, last year I said when I would sit those same spots. I mean, when I say everybody's got that money spot, same spots. I mean, I might be lucky to see 4, and it's not even like it's a any major habitat changes or food source changes. Obviously I think we had a pretty big oak crop. We had a pretty good oak crop last year, and but it's been very abnormal it's definitely the past 3 to 4 years. And I think not seeing deer also plays in that factor as well, of just not wanting to do it as much. So
I had a guy on from Missouri several months ago, Cali Grubbs. We spent most of the time talking about the NBC and them shooting deer off bait piles with thermals after dark.
well, I think, and I don't know, and somebody can correct me, I might be wrong at this point, but I know originally, and it might even still be a thing now, like you could literally you could put a 50-pound bag of corn in your backyard and go and spotlight deer off your deck. I mean, we used to be able to do that. Who knows how many people have done that? There's even people, and I actually, my uncle actually took advantage of it because he wasn't able to get a deer during normal deer season, and he just never had time between work and family, etc. And went out in late February, early March, shot a doe, went to impact, and there was a fetus where impact was. She had gotten shot and popped one out. And then while field dressing, turns out she had twins. So I'm not really a big fan of it at all. I think it's a natural process. It's something that if it really is going to take over our deer population, deer are social animals. It's not something that you can't just kill off, in my opinion. I mean, you could do maybe in I guess a core area where, if you have, I just don't, I'm not a biologist, so I don't know what I can or can't say. I just feel like that there's a better remediation to where guys like me that don't have much access to places where I have to hunt, where there is a targeted cull area, can also enjoy the resource. So
yeah, they probably should have taken some ideas from Fauci and talked the deer into whatever we were forced to do in 2020.
Oh, the vaccines.
Not the vaccines, but you couldn't leave home.
Oh, the
quarantine.
Yeah, that's right. That's
I
the
mean,
word.
they can teach deer to cross at the deer crossing signs. Why can't they teach them to stay in their
Right.
home area so they don't spread the disease?
Exactly. And they say it's like pass by, is it contact, right? Like what happens if you have a watering hole? Every deer is going to dip their nose in that water. You do any turkey hunt at all, or are you more of a deer hunter?
I get kind of bored turkey hunting myself. I'm more of a deer hunter. I like taking my nieces and nephews when I have time, but I don't really make much of a priority out of it.
The turkey hunt? I'll have to send you some gun cam footage from my Tennessee hunt that I had this spring. And you're gonna be like, all right, that's cool. I want that.
I know it's cool, but my hunting property is 2 hours away from where I live, and it doesn't excite me enough to make that trip just to turkey hunt. Whereas deer hunting, I'll take a vacation.
And I think also too that what ties into it is like for how many turkeys there are in my area and the little amount of people that actually do. If you know how to talk to people around here, it's not that hard to get permission. If you just go up and you knock on that door, hey, I saw a turkey out there in that field. Can I go hunt them? You're gonna get a no. Like it's a little different here.
That's what all my buddies were telling me before I got a girlfriend and not single for a long time. You ask enough people, somebody will say yes.
Yes. And now, well, the other thing is too, like I got one buddy, it's crazy. I didn't know this, but my one buddy, he's a guide, and he has made a network of people like with guides around the country, and they'll all trade hunts, and he's figured out how to talk, because they get all the leases or permission pieces, and take people there, etc. And he had counted up how many acres in Missouri he has permission to, from where I am within a radius 1 hour drive of where we're at. He has permission to 11,000 acres in our area. And I was like, dude, I've got 2 permission pieces. Which one are you not going to? Because that is
he using this for himself, or is he taking people that are?
So he used to. He used to guide Missouri, and then he stopped. And but he built relationships with these people, with a lot of these people. Like you just go out and do work, or at the end of the season, like I do the same thing. Like I'll ask them, I'll ask farmer, if they drink, or if not. But big thing is, and there's a good secret. You ask them what's their wife's favorite wine, and you buy their wife a bottle of wine first, and then you worry about the farmer. Usually, if she remembers you a lot more than he does, and he'll remember that you made his wife happy. So good little trick I got. But he'll go out and he'll buy a bottle of wine or do some work or whatever, and and there's sometimes like you may do it too if you got a permission piece. Just give him a little bit of cash or share the harvest with them or something. But he just keeps relationships with these people, and has done it for probably 3 or 4 years. I've only known him for 2 years, but he told me that he stopped guy. I guess he stopped guiding when I had met him, and was a guide for 3 years prior to that. He doesn't even guide turkeys that much. It's more waterfowl than he does turkeys, which is crazy to me. He just stumbles upon all these gold mines out of nowhere, and it's just like, okay, man, I'll tag along.
Yeah, if you can talk them into letting you go once and bring back a gift after, usually they'll let you come back again.
Even with coyotes too, like there's a lot of cattle around here, a lot of cattle farms, and usually if you go out there and where there's coyotes, 9 times out of 10 around here, there's turkeys. So if I go out there and whack a coyote or two, usually that farmer's gonna be pretty happy. And you come back in the spring, or you go up there and you show the coyotes or whatever, and you finish the conversation off right there and just keep in touch. Like it's, like in Missouri, like we have to, if you get permission, like one, you have to get written permission here. So there's no verbal, and you have to, the next year, you have to get a new slip. It's not just get permission in 2024 and then you could still hunt there in 26. You have to re-sign. So technically, if you go back there without talking to that person, like you are trespassing. So you have to keep those relationships. And now since I got the kids, personally, like I'd open my Onyx, but it'd take me, I would say at a minimum, probably 8 different permission pieces. And just over the years, I mean, more people, life gets busy. You just don't talk to as many people anymore. But now with the kids, like my daughter being 3, oh my gosh, I'll throw a YouTube video on, or I'll even just be practicing out in the shop, or just in general. Where's the turkey? I got a full body mount. I got a full body mount, Tom, out in the shop. And every time we go outside, Daddy, can we go look? Can we go look? And she's all about it. I'm not going to take my daughter out in public land. I tell you that what happened if you want what happened this spring, because it was the craziest thing I ever seen. Definitely makes me not want to take her out there. So like there's a farm, a 250-acre farm right down the road. I went over there and I talked to that guy, and pretty much told him who I am, exactly how this is, and just had a realistic conversation with him. And I looked him in the eye and said, listen, I've got a 3-year-old daughter. I got a newborn son, and I live 5 minutes from your house. I'm honestly just trying to find a farmer that I can build a relationship with to be able to, and solely in exchange for hunt permission. It's, like I said, I own my own carpentry business, so I'm more than capable of being able to build something for you. I'll buy the materials or whatever, or if you need a hand throwing hay or just whatever in general, just swapping work for it. And think I'm kind of leaning more towards doing that and just finding one person, selfishly, if they have more property, then I'm probably going to go knock on that door. But I want to be able to take my kids somewhere that's, 1, accessible, and 2, safe. More importantly, just because I don't want what happened to me and my buddy this spring to happen to me in the ballpark of them. So
You gonna buy your daughter a 410?
I already she might already have one.
I didn't realize, because I kind of drifted away from turkey hunting. My buddy is telling me about his daughter. She's probably 7 or 8. She's been smacking turkeys with a 410. I'm like, no, you can't kill a turkey with 410. It's like, yeah, you can.
Oh yeah.
It's like, did more research. Like, people are doing it just for a lighter gun because they're so capable.
Yes. And it's cool. Like I went down and hunted. When I go back to Florida, I'll probably hunt with the 410 just because of how light it is. I was lugging around my grandpa's 12 gauge down there. We went down there on a wet year, and you had to get back there about 9 to 10 miles to get to the turkeys, but you had to walk through about 2 foot of water the entire way, 2 to 3 feet of water. and it's like a freaking jungle down there. It is so thick in some spots, and it's hard to maneuver. But with the 410, man, I mean, it's so thick, you're not going to be cracking one off at 40 yards or 35 yards. They're going to be in your face. So some situations that it actually does come in handy. Like the gun I use though, I use a 20 gauge Benelli M2, but I am I got a 568 Carlson's choke on there with a hull. I don't know what Holosun it is, but it's battery powered with a solar backup. So with that gun, like I shot last year I put the TSS in it because I was hunting an area that required a non-toxic load, and then it was actually I was up in Montana and they required a non-toxic load, and this year I was shooting an 8.5. I was like an eight. It was like an 8.5 shot Vioki shot last year. It didn't pattern the greatest, and the local armory around here, they still had some TSS shells on the price of at 2025 prices versus what it is now, and I was like, well, I've only got 3 shells, might as well just buck up on them, and bought 3 boxes for $60 per, and I think there were 9 shot, or I can't remember if they're 9 or 8, but I shot that. I don't even know if I don't have the pattern. When first I patterned at 20, and it was kind of like one of those dicey 2 type patterns. I think it was like a 7 or 8 inch pattern at 20, but at 30, or no, I shot at 40. I shot at 40, and I mean it was dinner plate. I'm not dinner plate, probably about 18 inches wide of a pattern. But for giggles, I won't do this. My maximum range that I'm going to shoot a turkey is 40 yards at a absolute maximum. But for giggles, I shot it at 80, and oh my gosh, I'm not kidding you. It was almost probably maybe grew like 2 inches both ways. I mean, it was wicked. And the pellet density it was dense enough to where I would be confident if something were to happen, but I won't. I won't.
My buddies, when I verified, not much for a 410 with TSS to knock turkey down at 40 yards.
Mm-mm. No, and some of them they actually have like bundles. If your armory does it, like some of them will throw a choke on there and a red dot, and you could get a sweet little 410 setup for sub $600. I think the one I bought, I bought it for $575. I mean,
What kind do you have?
it's Mossberg.
500
I think so. It's in the gun safe. I can go.
pump gun.
Yeah.
Okay, probably 500.
Mm-hmm. But it's got a little vortex on top of it, and I don't even know what type of choke. I didn't hunt with it that much. I saw it and I was like, oh man, this is pretty cool. Because initially, like I was thinking about letting her run that 20 gauge, but it's a Mondo gun. I mean, it's got a 20-inch barrel on it, and I don't know. I wanted something smaller. Plus, I like the way a full gun safe looks. So, yeah, I went Tennessee, and their opening weekend. Then came back. Their opener was a Saturday. The following week, our turkey season opens on Monday, on the third Monday of April every year. And so that was Saturday. Hunted Saturday, Sunday. Went back later that week because I had a 7-day tag. So went back there, left Wednesday, hunted Thursday, Friday, came back Saturday, and then the turkey season at home. So obviously going to go out opening day. You can't miss that. It's a holiday. Went out opening day, called one across the river, killed him. And if you kill one in Missouri, you can't hunt you can't harvest turkey that opening week anymore. You got to wait until the next Monday. Well, it worked out great because we had a turkey camp. First time I ever done anything like it. Never had a hunting camp, so we had that experience this year. It was pretty cool. We had six guys. It started out with 6 guys in camp, and being the buddy that I mentioned from that Oklahoma story earlier, him and I are definitely the more experienced hunters out of that group. There were 2 other guys that had killed a turkey before that came with us, but just they couldn't call. They're not the greatest at calling. And then we had two new guys that had never been before. So him and I took the 2 new guys, and we had a boat. We were hunting a lake, and so we could access by water. You could access by water and get access by foot. And there was just a lot of core ground around it and a lot of ground you could cover. And to access it by foot, where we had found these turkeys, you had to walk about 1.5 miles in versus a 5-10 minute boat ride for the boat ramp. And I've got a new hunter with me. Never been turkey hunting. And anybody that hunts public land, like, everybody knows the golden rule. You see a truck, just be a guy. Like, just let the guy hunt. You know, I mean, granted, yeah, it was that little track where that access was. There was a lot of ground. I'm not gonna say, you know, don't hunt there because I'm already in there. It's public ground. Do what you want, but don't be a dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't. Sorry, and I don't know if I should swear on here or not, but
No, I don't care.
very sore subject, and you're going to understand why here in about 30 seconds. We were 1.5 miles in on the public land, and I'm not kidding you. There is 2 turkeys gobbling at my 12 o'clock. There is a turkey gobbling at my 2:30, and there's another turkey gobbling at my 10. Okay? Well, I got 2 of them together, and we're 200 yards, 250, 200 yards. And we had started on this little point on the edge of this field. Turkeys were on the backside, or I guess I should do this so you can see the depth. So we jumped over and started working down this field edge to kind of get a gauge on where they're at. I stop and I'm checking my onyx and using the compass and getting, okay, they're here. I'm standing there and my buddy, he turns around and he goes, Michael, there's some guys back there. I turn around, there's 4 dudes, all of them with shotguns walking up on us. I'm like, okay. I turn around, morning, how you doing? He looks at me, he goes, going up for them turkeys? And I was like,
No.
no, man. And I look at him and said, yes. He goes, okay, well, which way are you going? And I knew, I've had some weird experiences on public before, and I knew the way this conversation was going. And I just stopped. Because it's like one of those real moments. Like, it's like I said, don't be a dick. Like, I looked at him, I said, man, listen. I said, you have 4 guys. I said, he has never been turkey hunted before, and there are 2 turkeys gobbling down here. And I stopped. And anybody that's turkey hunter, and I don't know if you're like this, I'm like this. I don't share pins. I don't share pins. I don't show people my onyx. And I don't do it. I just don't do it. If I'm a firm believer in you got to earn it. Like, you have to, I'm not going to just hand it over to you. The only way I'm going to hand it over, or if I share a pin, I'll get you to a vicinity. I'm not going to show you exactly where they're at. This time, I pulled my onyx and I showed them. I said, we were standing here. I showed them exactly where I was. They saw my lines, and I said, there is a turkey on this point, and I said, there is another turkey on this point, and by golly, that one over there, pow, gobble. And I said, there's another one over there. I've got goosebumps thinking about this because this was a great. I mean, so the 2, they hears them, they go, okay, we'll go after this one. Well, which way? And then the other 2 are standing there. Well, which way are you going? And the 2 that were already on, gobble again. I said, well, go right down here. All right. I said,
You had 3 turkeys. They had 4 guys. Instead of going together, they split off to take 2 of the 3 turkeys you had working.
Yeah, well, there were 4. So there were 2 that we were on. There's another one off to the right yonder, probably 500-600 yards away, you know, and there's another one off to the left, another 400 or 500 yards down this lake edge. I mean, there's plenty, there's turkeys there. There's turkey for everybody to hunt. And the 2 split off, I think, so I thought, because I found them. Anywho, they split off, and then like where these turkeys were, like they were down in this little drainage, and this field edge was just a straight shot to them, and we're like 150, probably even closer than that, to where they're at, and they're still in the tree gobbling. They're eye level with us gobbling, and I look at my buddy. I said, all right, let's go jump in the woods.
You got 3 or 4 turkeys. Group of 4 comes up, and they split. You're going after the same turkeys you were going after. They go after the other 2. You get them out of your hair. And what happens next?
Well, that's what I thought. So I watched 2 of the 4 guys. They start walking at the one to our right. I'm thinking, okay, cool. They're decent people. Like, and because they came up and they talked to us, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? And they were pretty receptive and talking about it. And like I said, we're eye level with these turkeys while they're still in the tree, and it's a straight, clear shot to them down this field edge to where these turkeys are. And I look at my buddy and said, let's go hop in the woods. You know, woodsmanship. like just walk in the woods to the turkeys. And we go in the woods and we're like 20 yards in the woods. They're walking right at them. I turn around. These two dudes are walking down the field edge right at these two turkeys that we just told them that we're going to after I just showed them an onyx pin where there's another one at. And I turn around and I whistle at them. What are you guys doing? Well, we're going to where you said those birds were. I said, I kind of got mad. I said, you guys have any woodsmanship? You guys ever thought about walking at a turkey dead on down the field edge and think, man, he could see me? And the guy, and they were young, and one of them was younger, and he like looks at me, perks up, and he like has this like thinking face on. He goes, that's a good point. We'll take the woods. I'm just like, man, I'm like, whatever.
I told you I was going after those turkeys, and I literally gave you guidance to another turkey.
Yes. So it gets worse in this situation. So we actually ended up, so we go down these woods. Those guys, they walk off. Okay. We go in, we set up. I mean, we got in there pretty good. I mean, it's still kind of gray light. And, this interaction was probably after hearing, 10, 15 minutes before fly down. So we still have plenty of time to get in there. So we get in there and we sit down like, I don't know, 70 yards from these turkeys. And we set up and they fly down. And I see them go left. I know they're gone. So I stop calling. I'm just done. And out of nowhere, just like probably 75 yards to the right, exact right of where we had met these people at, I just hear, yeah. I'm thinking, that ain't no turkey. And I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, what the heck is going on? I know it's a person, so I'm just quiet. I don't want these turkeys to gobble at all, So I go and I let these turkeys worked off and hunt morning goes on, whatever, and get out of there. We had rented a campground, go back there. Turns out that group of 4 dudes was in a bigger group of like 8 people, and they were our next door neighbors in camp. So me being me, the turkey hunter I am, go up and talk to them. Say, hey, y'all get on them after we split up? No, we just couldn't find them, and we just started walking. I said, oh really? I said, you didn't sit down behind me? No. I said, really? Okay. And I started talking to them and just didn't let them know that I was on to them. So what kind of calls you guys use? Oh, I got this little mouth yelper. I ain't the greatest. So let it rip. Let's hear what you got. Maybe I can help you out. I'll be damned. It was the same. You could tell by the tone and everything. Same guy, like the cadence and everything. It was him. I knew it was at this point. And
this is the people that went right, not the people you followed to the roosted turkeys.
Yes, the 2 guys that went to the right, it was one of those guys. It was one of them.
So they went right, and then they came back to sneak in on you?
Yes. And then the other 2 dudes, they're standing there too, and I look at them. I didn't even say a word to them because they knew that they were in the wrong. Like, it's just like it's a common courtesy thing. So at that point, if there's a turkey hunter on here that listens to this, I'm telling you right now, it's the game. So, me being me, I had some feathers in there because I had shot a turkey earlier in the week, and I normally don't do this, and I'm not like this type of guy, but it really struck a nerve with me. I had an empty shell in my truck as well, one of my TSS loads from patterning, so I took my empty shell and my feather, and I just left it at the gate that day. Well, and they asked me, they said, well, what'd you get? You end up getting that turkey? And I know I didn't, but I also was just like so fed up with these guys at this point, and I kind of feel bad about it at this point because I don't know. I told him I shot the turkey, and I didn't. I handled by I did not shoot a turkey. I killed one opening day in Missouri. Did not shoot a turkey until I didn't tag out until like second to last day of the season. So anybody, whatever, promise you, I'll do a polygraph. Told him I shot the turkey. What I told him what happened was that the guy I was with, he had fallen asleep, and I told him that I did tell them that the turkeys went left. Okay. And I told them turkeys went left on fly down. And I kind of I told them I did some scouting beforehand and kind of got an idea on where they might be. And I told them that if we sat down against the stream, I just did soft calling every 20, 30 minutes. And told my buddy had fallen asleep, had a gun in his lap. And this turkey came up and just started drumming out of nowhere at 30 yards. And he wouldn't wake up. And I just took the gun out of his lap and shot him. They go, oh, what time did you shoot him? I said, I don't know, about 10:30. Did you guys hear my gunshot? No, it makes sense if you shot him at 10:30. I said, oh, why? He goes, well, we walked that whole thing and we were out of there by 9 o'clock. So, oh, really? I said, well, where'd you walk? He goes, well, we went right. We didn't go left. And if you shot him over at the left, it makes sense why we didn't hear a gobble. And I'll be damned. This guy showed me his onyx track of where he walked. and it was the other two dudes. So the two dudes that initially walked up that wood line, they made a loop too and got on our left side. So I had two dudes on my right and two dudes on my left. So when we bit back in there that night to roost, took that feather in with shotgun shell and I left it at the gate. Like they want to play the game. I'll play the game. So they have 8 guys. All 8 guys know that there's still 3 more turkeys in there. Okay. So we actually spent that day walking around the woods, and I actually did scout though after that hunt. We actually didn't even get here. I struck one at like 11 and did a lot of scouting. I mean, I want to say we walked every bit of 12 miles easily. I mean, it was pretty bad. And we went in there, roosted, didn't hear nothing. Went out the next day, didn't hear nothing. The Sunday, the last day, there were those 2 toms, and I'm pretty confident it was the same 2 turkeys. They were split up, and they were just raking it back and forth at each other. And now, keep in mind, we're on a lake, and there's water access. So we go and set up on. We go up and we get in after flight. He flew down. He goes down this edge of this little drainage, and I'm working him. All right. And then he's starting to come up a little bit, a couple gobble, a couple drums. He's probably 80, 90 yards out over my left. Same call, same cut and cadence. I'm like, okay, noted. There's another person hunting here. And then out of nowhere, this turkey's not gobbling. I'm thinking, no, he's probably just done. Box call. All right, well, he just gobbled. There's more people here. I know that for a fact. So I got one guy to my left. I got one guy to my right. And then, now that the turkey's gobbling again, the crows are going off. Turkey's gobbling more and more. So there's a guy to like my I'd say my 8 o'clock. I got a guy to my 3 o'clock. And then I hear, yap, 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 gobble 2. That turkey gobbles again. To my, what is that? My 4:30, 5 o'clock. So now I got 1, 2, 3 guys. Okay. And then I have another guy at my 10 o'clock call from the lake. And then about 20 minutes later, there's another guy at my 1 o'clock from the lake. So there's 6 people hunting this turkey, and me and this new hunter that I'm with are in the middle of them all with a gobbling turkey less than 100 yards from us easily. So, like, if I were alone, I'd probably try to. It probably would have been a fly or die situation, but since I was with him, like, I'm not gonna do that. So I just started doing. I just pulled the whole 9 on him. I had my mouth call in, had a slate, and just started sounding like 2 turkeys, and just scratching the leaves. And I am not kidding you. This turkey just shut up, and out of nowhere, you just hear. Out of nowhere at like 40, 50 yards. I look up, I can't, because it's kind of thicker. It's like a cedar transition to like a little drainage type deal. But throw bottoms up, he's standing there like 50 yards. I go, you got to get the gun off. You got to get it there. He's coming up the edge. He didn't move. He wanted to be there, but that was freaky. It was freaky. I mean, we had 5 guns around us, and you shoot these TSS loads. Somebody sees a body in the direction of a goblin turkey. I mean, these TSS loads, you can shoot 100 yards with them, and they're in I don't know if you ever watched like a ballistics video of those things, but it is wicked what they actually do. I mean, it is wicked. And it got to the point where I had like this like clarity moment in my head, like, do I really want to get this turkey this close? Like, there's this many guys, because somebody's probably doing the same stuff that I would,
Well, you don't know what's behind the turkey.
And that too. That's the other thing about it. Like, I thought, and in the moment, I didn't have that. Like, when I initially saw that turkey, like, it was just like, okay, he's coming. And then after we were sitting there watching, it's funny that you bring that up, because I was talking to Cody about it. He goes, there was somebody behind that turkey, And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So like in that moment, like I failed in that moment. Who knows what could have happened, and vice versa with those other 5 guys that were around us, if it could have gotten really, really bad, really quick, all with one shot that, and that's why I'm trying to find a farm that I can just take my kids to. Like, I don't want that to happen. Like, after that whole experience, like, it's really changed, like, kind of my outlook and my perception on like hunting public around here. It just like it was crazy. Let alone having 4 guys walk up and have 2 dudes split up. You know, I'm sure that they were texting, "Hey, we're on the right about 75 yards away from him. You go over here," and then going up and seeing their track and seeing exactly where they walked. Like, why? Why?
That's sketchy, man.
Right. Like we had another one. I had another one completely other side. That was, I would say that was kind of like if you start like an hour west of St. Louis, you go north, probably northwest 2 hours. That's where that was. Okay. Now, whole other side of the state, I'm on a youth hunt. Okay. I took a youth hunter out and I took him on a public. He's older. He actually was aged out. It was his last year. He's 15. And we went out roosting that night, the night before opener, and had there was a vehicle there. And if you know there's turkeys there, like not many people go down there. And this guy, we saw him, and he beat us to the gate to where we were going to walk in from. So we turn around, go, and made back loop around backside to kind of the vicinity of where you might be hearing the same turkeys. And actually ended up that it was the only ones that we heard that night, so we were going to start there. Well, we're leaving, see his vehicle, and he's parked. He's talking to somebody, so I'm going to talk to them. We're going to have children with us out in the woods in the morning. And big thing is, like I said earlier, like I don't tell people where turkey's at. And I met somebody like me, and I looked at him and I said, "You hear anything? No. You hear anything? No." And then I thought to myself, like, I can't, I looked at him and said, "Hey man, all right, let's cut the BS." I said, "I know you heard those turkeys." I said, "I'll show you where I heard them if you show me where you heard them, and let's figure this out for the morning." And obviously we were both going to hunt the same turkeys, and he had done his scouting, and then, he would. So I just showed up. I knew that they were around there. I worked up there and I drove by and seen them, but he has scouted them and done the work. So, he said they're either going to fly down this levee or they're going to fly down the woods. More likely than not, they're probably going to fly the levee. So, and it was a rainy day, so probably going to fly the levee. So, okay, you want to hunt the levee? Go for it. I'll hunt the woods, but we'll be here. Like, we'll be here. And show him exactly where we're going to be within a 40, 50-yard bubble. And he's got a 10-year-old with him. And we go out in the morning, get set up. Turkeys are gobbling, and there's 3 there. I think it was like 3 or 4 of them together. And they flew in the woods. They came our way, and I'm working them, and they're gobbling over each other. And this guy, he is calling from his spot, and I'm thinking, okay, well, he's going to be, and he goes quiet. I'm thinking, okay, like he's going to let us have this hunt. Like, cool. It's going to be a really good moment for, the mentors and obviously the kids to see, ethics. He, out of nowhere, originally he was 250 yards away from us on a box call 100 yards away from us, almost down the gun barrel of my youth hunter. And these turkeys are at 60 yards. Well, coming to us, and they gobble at them. So I'm thinking, I know exactly what this guy's doing, as he's taking this kid down this levee, and he's just going to bushwhack him over the levee. So now that I know he's moving, I just started raking it at him. I just hit my crystal, and I just didn't stop. It's just like, what are we doing here? Like, why are you influencing a 10-year-old to think it's okay to go and walk up on somebody else with a gun? And he had my gun. He had a 20 gauge with a number 9 TSS or number 8 TSS in it. You take that 10-year-old out, what happens? Or vice versa. Like, you can't, like, I just remember that hunt and just sitting there, like, thinking to myself, like, wow, that was 2 years ago. And then after this spring, like, it really, really kind of opened my eye up to just, like, I don't know if being desperate's the word, or arrogant about it. It just doesn't, it's not right.
I wouldn't say a similar situation, but so I farm some farm ground in northern Iowa, but I have sole access to the timber. Well, the guy who owns it works with a guy that likes to hunt. He's never been able to hunt, but that guy's boy asked to turkey hunt this spring, and the landowner said it was okay, which I can't say anything about that, but like, they know I put in all the work, the food plots, I run cameras, cut trees down for the landowner, all that stuff. And to have the audacity to even ask. Like, people knew I was renting that and didn't hunt shotgun season and would still ask me if they could hunt it. Like,
See, that's the thing, man. I think that I think people have just gotten away from that way of life. Like around here, like trespassers are a big thing, like sore subject for the guys to do it. Like I'm not a fan of reaping. I have multiple friends that are fans of reaping, let alone reaping jakes, just like, or going on. I've actually, and even hearing stories from people that I've done work for, his last guy that I built a deck for watched a trespasser reap a turkey from his front yard. Yes, he watched a guy get out of his truck, crawl down his fence line, and shoot a turkey, 250 yards from his house. I mean, he's an old guy in his 80s. I mean, what's he gonna do? Call the game warden? Game warden's not gonna get out there in time. Let alone is this old man that's walking on a cane gonna be able to go and grab his keys in time for a guy to go crawl for 20 seconds, show a fan to a turkey, and then shoot that turkey within 20 seconds of it seeing that fan. And it's crazy and it sucks because it sounds like you live in a small area. If you got people around you that know, if when it gets to that point of it, like everybody knows where people hunt, and that sucks. Like like if you're putting in that much time or an effort onto something that it just kind of feel like you got spit in the face.
well, it's out of respect. I mean, they know they're sitting on the food plot I planted, for Christ's sakes. You want to sit in
Yeah.
my tree stand in my blind too?
Right.
And
Here, take my gun while you're at it,
I mean, I get it that the landowner gave him permission, but you think the respectful thing to do would be to talk to me first.
Right. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think we're just getting away from that though. Like we're not just like I think respect's just a word that's just gotten lost over the years, and and that's why I'm kind of gearing more towards the just finding one, like what you're doing, finding that one person that you can just build a relationship with and just keep that and not screw it up, and then hope that they are going to, honor their side of it. I mean, in the essence of it, like, yes, it is a permission piece, but we're paying our dues. It's not like we're just going there and stomping around and doing whatever. If you actually truly enjoy the outdoors and let alone you get your family involved with it or whatever, like it's got a lot deeper meaning to it than just showing up and whacking something. Or if you're going up there and you see that their gutter's hanging off, hey, I'll fix your gutter for you. Just small things like that, cutting down trees, clearing out the property, cleaning it up, or doing whatever. So I think I even heard you earlier. I think when I was listening, like you blew leaves off of property, right? And was that you or is that one of your guests?
Probably somebody else.
Okay.
I forget. Oh, I was going to say, so I got a new boss at work and he found out I had a hunting podcast. He's like, man, you got to teach me to hunt. I got some young kids. I want to teach them how to hunt. I'm like, don't even bother. If you've never hunted, it's a pretty toxic environment.
Yeah. And I got, and people like that, like I don't have many spots to turkey hunt. I just know how to hunt the spots that I have. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with like public land birds, like there is a lot of pressure around here. A lot. Like if you're going to go out, and if you're not an experienced hunter and you go out and you hunt some of the public around here, you've got to be really lucky and find that one fired up turkey that likes you. If not, you're deer hunting them. I mean, and so it's hard for me to want to take new hunters out and go and, because I have a rule that I keep to myself is I only like to shoot one per property. I don't like to take multiple birds off of the same property, just, so selfishly, like it's hard for me to want to take these people into my spots because there's only it's like I don't have that many places to go. So if somebody approaches me and asks me like, yeah, we can go, but we got to go to one of your spots.
People backstab you.
Exactly.
They'll ask for permission behind your back.
Mm-hmm. Or, or if you take them to a public land spot and you show them where the birds are, they've got onX. They'll go hunt those turkeys when you're not there, So it's like it's hard for me I want people to hunt, but I want them to earn it, if that makes sense. I will help you and I will give you advice. And if you have a crazy situation where if you've got if you're hunting a deer and it's in the morning and it's right before that sun comes up over that hill and the deer's walking below you and your wind's in your face, but it goes calm and he runs off out of nowhere, freaking out, and nothing happened. Okay, well, thermals don't start pulling until the sun starts hitting you, bud. Like, that's just what happens. The mornings work a little different. It's a little different. It's not consistent until that sun starts burning it up. I will teach, but I'm not gonna say, here, go sit here. Like, that just doesn't. It's not like, it's not a, because you don't learn anything out of that. So
You just gotta rake in the money with your new business and buy your own land.
we'll see. I've got a crazy idea. I'm not gonna mention it because somebody with more money and time will put a patent on it first. But if I do, I will find you and we will go do some turkey hunting. And I'll
Sounds
get
good,
you
man.
hooked. I'll get you hooked on it.
Well, if you want to rake in some money in construction, look at spray foam. I interviewed a guy from Montana that he's probably between our age, 30-ish, and he could probably retire because he sold his spray foam business.
Really? Yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I work enough just to pay the bills some days, other days. I mean, mostly during turkey season, but those other 9 months, yeah, I try to go as crazy as possible, but it's just, I'm a little fish right now at a big sea in the middle of St. Louis. So, I mean, there are so many people that build decks around here. So, just got to try and
Gotta find a way to
figure
be
it out.
different.
Oh, yeah. So,
You ready to start wrapping this up?
yeah, man.
I don't know if you caught any of the latter episodes, but we wrap up with some rapid fire questions.
Okay, let me sit up.
So just quick answer, first thing that comes to mind. You can go into a little bit of detail, but not a lot. But best hunting gear purchase you've ever made?
Oh, dude wipes.
Dude wipes. Pooping's a common theme on this podcast, man.
Yes.
The most gimmicky hunting gear purchase you've ever made?
Oh, gimmicky.
You bought into the hype, and you're like, why did I buy this?
Probably a 20 gauge shotgun.
20 gauge shotgun, huh?
Yeah. Just because it's like everybody has 20 gauge, but
I don't.
it's sweet. So, yeah, true.
20
I don't
gauge
know.
shotgun. Okay. Hunting, luck versus skill, percentage breakdown. What percent is luck and what percent is skill?
It's a loaded question because I guess time of the year, if it's in November, I would say 65% luck, 35% skill, and then springtime, 70% skill.
Most controversial hunting hot take?
Patience.
What about most underrated hunting tactic?
Patience.
Well, controversial, we'll go with your reaping turkeys is BS.
Okay. All right. Well, controversial. Yeah, reaping. Actively using a CWD permit in Missouri.
There's probably a lot of people that agree with you. I suppose a lot of people that disagree with you too. Okay. What's your definition of a hunter versus a killer?
Being content with just not even seeing anything, and just and learning something from an experience. Learning from not seeing anything. How about that?
Perfect. All right. Before we wrap this up, we got to hear some of your most embarrassing hunting stories. Don't try hiding them.
Oh, gosh. All right. You want to hear about this Tennessee hunt? This is this year, by the way. This is
recent, huh?
Yes. So this year I started filming myself. Never done it. And I was self-filming with my phone, and I went to the NWTF thing this year and got the Tacticam with my membership. So I'm thinking, oh man, I got this sweet film set up. I got this shotgun. I got this camera on my shotgun. Sweet. Go in, find a turkey on this ridge, make a loop on him, and tearing it up. I don't even got to call him to know where he is. And it was like one of those perfect situations where he is just over the knob. He's here, and I can just boop, 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 set up, sit 10, 15 yards from the crest. Now, these woods, they were, for context, it was this year in Tennessee, they had an early green up, and I think all over the board we had an early green up. I think we had an early spring. So, like the Mayflowers are tall and thick, and all the understory had leaves thick, okay? And that one patch, the whole ridge was wide open. Nothing around the trees, had no cover. But that I put the thickest piece of vegetation that I could between me and that turkey. So when he popped up and over, he couldn't just telescope and just dip. And it worked. It worked because I am calling this turkey and he is tearing it up. And I can hear him. I can hear his leaves, his wings and the leaves strutting. Just hear him drumming. And he's gobbling less than 30 yards away from me, but I can't see him. I can't see him at all. And he just goes quiet. Like everything goes quiet. Like, I can't hear him walking. I can't hear drumming, no gobbling. And then out of nowhere, just poof, at 10 yards. I look up, his head's right there at 10 yards and just gone. I only saw the back of his head. I'm like, what just happened? Like, he's here.
He snuck up on you, huh?
And I go, I'm like bewildered at this. And I go and I look at the gun. I get home and I got this 7-hour drive back home. Like, what happened? Like, I need to get to my computer. I need to see what happened. And I load this freaking footage up. My camera was like here, right? And so it was above my eye level. And it was kind of off to my right. And I watched my phone camera first. If I were my phone, I could have killed that turkey 20 different times. I mean, it was like crazy. The phone could see him strutting and gobbling back and forth and walking up just straight up this ridge. Turns out he stood on top of a rock and walked up this rock to get to me. That's why I didn't hear him. And then you see the whole thing. You see him putt and run, whatever. It gets worse because I get to my gun camera. My gun camera, I could see his head 4 or 5 different times. I just couldn't see him. I just couldn't see him until I putted. Oh, I was just sitting there afterwards, just like, oh my gosh, did I need to get my eyes checked? Or my lenses up to date? What is going on?
You think there was just a little draw where he was lower?
No, because I walked over it. It was error. Error. I should there was like this one, and I sat back and I thought about it, and I tried telling myself that his head was behind this tree, and when he putted, because like in the phone camera video, he putts and then he putts and then his head drifts back and then goes down, and I thought, oh well, he just popped up behind that tree, like he popped up and I just never saw him. I told that to myself before I saw the gun cam footage. No, he walked up. You can see him gobble the last time on the gun cam. So I'm here, Gobbles on the gun cam at like 15 yards, and I watched it, and you could see him just go bloop 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 bloop, head down, and then he gets up on top, and there's this one window that his head sat in for like a solid 2 seconds, and I never saw him.
Sometimes I was thinking in that situation, do you think your eyes got fixated on something in that thicker area where he came through, like, and you were just kind of like watching for him to pop out of a specific area, and he was like right on you the whole time?
So I think he saw my camera. I think he saw my tripod because I didn't have a burlap. I didn't have any burlap on there.
Correct, but your eyes might have been focused on where you thought he was when he was actually way closer than what you thought.
Yes. So, and this is so back to your question about from what separates hunters from killers. And this is what I learned that day. I sat there and I thought to myself, like, how did this turkey get so close? I never saw him. And what I think I'm going to do, that's not even a thing. I know I'm going to do it from now on, is instead of just looking like at that thickness of just wall, like if I would have just looked under that vegetation and just tried to just skyline them and just not have my eyes fixated for a head and just look under all that vegetation, because you only had like 2 or 3. I mean, from where I was with my head and the actual crest, whatnot, like there wasn't much room, but I could have skylighted him and saw his body coming up to just get a general direction of where he is going to be. So yes, to answer your question, so I had my eyes fixed on looking for a big old red and blue head. I was fired up. It was some of the better goblin, one of the better goblin experiences I've had. One of those ones where you just don't forget, and then you sit there and you think to yourself, wow, I really screwed that up.
I get that way deer hunting. You think you see a deer moving, and you're fixated on that one deer. I know you weren't actually looking at the turkey, but you'll be watching a doe, like trying to kill some time, and all of a sudden something will walk right under you. Like, where'd that come from?
Oh yeah. You get that, and then you just sit there and be like, oh man, my leg is tickling right now. You pull it up, you got 100 seed ticks on your leg while you're working a bird. Poof, he's there 50. It's like, oh gosh.
I always think about this when I'm pheasant hunting. It's a little bit different because you stop and pheasants get nervous, but it always happens when you have to stop and take a leak, and then all of a sudden birds start getting out.
I've never done that before. When I hunted in Kansas, I actually saw a lot in Kansas, so there was quite a few. I've never been. My buddy that's a guide, he did some guided pheasant hunting, or he has a friend in his guide network is a pheasant hunting guide and whatnot, and he said that he had a pretty good time. And they're actually kind of big, like they're kind of large. I did not expect them to be as big as they were. And I saw it for the first time. I was like, oh my gosh, like that's a pheasant. Like that is like almost chicken size.
You've never shot one?
No, we don't have them here, or at least where I'm at, we don't have them here.
Dude, if I had thousands of acres, I would invite all the guests I've had. It's a lot of fun.
Really?
It's fun.
Same with, I mean, I don't know. Do you waterfowl hunt? I can't do
Afraid
it.
to get into another expensive hobby.
That's what I'm saying. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. It's just like last spring, I dropped $300 on mouth calls alone. What am I gonna do whenever the new mallard call comes out or whatever they're called? I don't know what they're called.
Decoys. It's not just one turkey decoy. It's
Well, yeah,
a trailer full of waterfowl decoys.
exactly. Like I could not bring myself to do that. And then I know that because I know I'm gonna like it.
Well, I would too. I
It's
know.
you're gonna go through here to tell me you want me to shoot 3 cases of shot or 3 boxes of shotgun shells at a bird in a day? Oh, man. All right. What's the real cost?
Well, that's how pheasant hunting is. It's a lot cheaper though. Well, you gotta have a dog, but you can burn through a lot of shells and it's fun.
I see the feathers behind you. It looks like you do it pretty often.
Not as much as I used to. When I had a dog, I was probably going out 7, 8 times a year. Now it's without a dog. It's once, maybe twice, but it's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
I wonder. Yeah, I'm sure they're in Missouri, just out west, more where the prairies are at.
Well, if you
Like-
link up with your kid's favorite dentist, he likes the pheasant hunt.
she did reply to me. She did not go there. She went to the one in town. So Creve Coeur though, huh?
I'll send you his info.
Okay. He pheasant hunts?
Yep, I don't know where he travels to. He bought a farm in northern Missouri, just making money hand over fist.
Really? I'm sure.
I think he bought a farm in Illinois too.
Yeah.
Should have been a dentist.
I know. That's the thing too, though, is like you can't like here, like every single state around us, and I don't know if Oklahoma is now too, but it's all draw. They're all draw states. So you can't go over to Illinois and go and hunt. Plus their seasons are weird. Some of the seasons are weird. Like they have 3 separate seasons during the spring, so you can
if you're a landowner, like Kansas, I think you can go every year if you're a landowner.
Exactly. I'm poor. I can't go buy ground over there, you know?
Now, just wait till your business takes off.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. One day, I'm pretty content. I told her this. Like I'm pretty simple. I just need like 20 acres. I don't need some crazy farm. I said when we go and we're shopping for ground, we're going in April. Well, why? Well, why do you think?
You gotta make sure there's turkeys.
Well, what do you mean? I said, babe, we're gonna go there and you can meet me there because I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there at first light. I said, this isn't. There has to be turkeys for me to make an investment like that. It's so expensive. Like around here, like I mean, ground goes for on the cheap side, like 7,000 an acre here on the absolute cheap side. It's crazy, you know. Then if you go north of the river, you're paying $15,000 for an acre.
It's terrible.
Oh yeah. So some people listening might be like, "Oh my gosh, I need to move from Missouri. Where's this guy from?" Because it's wicked, man. So
all right, man. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you taking the time to hop on.
yeah, not a problem at all. Thanks for having me.